www.desiblitz.com.
Get her out of my head.
And when we were scouting in India, we got an email from Emma Thompson, who had read the script, and she came on board. This is in 2010, and that really started moving things ahead. And then we started going to philanthropists who really got the message and got what we wanted to do, and a group of people came on board to finance the film that were such a gift. We couldn't have asked for anything more. They're still our biggest support. Many of them are here tonight. And then, of course, our fantastic actors, Sushmita Mukherjee, Tilota Mashone, Paramrata Chatterjee. The casting in India was so amazing. And then Gillian came on board, and David Arquette, and we moved forward with production, and here we are.
Gillian, could I ask you, when you were preparing for this role, how much research, or how much did you know about the subject matter, or is it something that you learned along the way with this script, or when it was presented to you?
I didn't know much about human slavery at all, and when I first jumped on board, it was based on a script that was an adaptation of the novel, but the character was it was a one-line character at the time, and this was, I don't know what year that was, a long time ago. But Jeffrey, who I was in discussions on another project with, had asked if I would jump on board to lend a voice. Were they ever to get it together? And by the time that they did get it together, the role had grown. But to embody a real life humanitarian photographer, Lisa Christine, who spends a lot of her time bearing witness to human slavery around the world, and it fit into my schedule, which always helps.
When you raid this brothel, I want to be there.
And became more and more passionate about the subject matter and its need to be exposed as a global issue, not just an issue in India.
And the backstory of your character as well, we have a little glimpse of the character. She has a daughter, and straight away she brings that straight to the forefront, and you can see it within your face, the horror of the actress seeing what's just happened. The backstory of when it comes to your character, is it you spent a bit of time researching that character, or is that just something that you pulled from your life, that, you know, of your nieces or nephew, you thought about them at the time?
Children.
Children in general.
I mean, I don't think, no, in this instance, no. The nature of the subject matter is enough to bring anybody to tears. But that's not really the point. The point is the character symbolizing the reaction that we should all be having to this, to this current issue, global issue. And that's what my character does, in a sense, in the film. But there's not much research that needs to go into that.
Tell us about your personal experience, obviously filming in India. This film doesn't shy away from the topic of child trafficking. You know, the ending is about hope, but whilst you were there and filming, did that help towards building towards your character, and also has it changed you in any way since filming?
Well, as you can imagine, and Jeffrey has more stories about that than my short time spent there, but filming in India is a challenge, to say the least. But certainly jumping on board to this and becoming more educated about the situation has had an impact on an area of my life that wherever I can spend to speak out about this, I attempt to engage people in the conversation about it. Specifically lately, doing a lot of press for other things, and we always tend to end up on this topic, whether they're printed or not. But yeah, so in that respect, it's certainly changed my life.
Jeffrey, could you just expand on that? Has it changed your life in terms of your experience whilst filming there, as Gillian said, you were there for quite a period of time. Just talk about some of your own personal experience.
India does change your life. I went there first when I was 10. My stepdad is Indian. He's of Bengali descent. I grew up in Uganda. Went to India for the first time from Africa at 10. Completely changed my life then. Going back, doing this film, changed my life again. Really committed abolitionist at this point. I love India. I love the people in India. Our crew, our cast were astounding. Their family. I'd like to do more films there. We hope to really leverage the film to create major change globally, not just in India and Nepal, but globally. Some of our partners are here tonight, Child Reach International. They've got a wonderful program called Taught Not Trafficked, which they're rolling out tonight with the premiere, the UK premiere of the film. It's going to go to 40 colleges. We really want to bring young people into fighting this issue. We're going to bring them up in a bit.
And also, Jeffrey, I want to quickly ask you again, as a filmmaker, as a director, you have a vision in your head when you start off a project, and a lot of other people get involved, and that vision sometimes gets diluted, or someone takes control and gets final cut. How important was it for you to, as a filmmaker, as a director, as the first thing this film was going to do is move or change, was it important for you to keep in control of the content and what we saw on the screen tonight?
So directing is a paradox. And you really need to surrender to what is. And luckily I had all these brilliant people working with me. This is my first film, a feature film as a director. I've done others as a writer. We were really fortunate. We handpicked our crew and cast, and all of them contributed immensely. Watching the film, I was just thinking about so many people contributed great ideas and incredible moments. And as a director, you're sort of the funnel, and it's a joy to be the funnel. This is in, this is out, but you don't think of all of it. It is such a collaborative process at its best. And Sammy Chand is here tonight. He is part of the music. Nirja and Saida,
Brilliant music.
Executive producer. Dave Mann, and other investors.
Amazing. Big round of applause for the crew that is here in the audience today, making the effort to come out here.
Jane, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the subject matter, because Gillian and Jeffrey have kind of given their thoughts and their personal experiences. At the end of the film it says 5.5 million children are child trafficked. Tell us about how you feel this problem can be tackled, because as you say, this film is about change, about bringing about change. Of course, Child Reach International have today launched hashtag Taught Not Trafficked. Tell us about your thoughts on that.
This is a $150 billion business, $50 billion per year. When we started this project, it was the third highest grossing illegal crime in the world. It's now the second highest grossing illegal crime in the world, and it's getting worse with the internet and everything else that's happening around trafficking. It's because it's so lucrative, we have to hit this issue on so many different levels. We've learned so much about how to create change. We actually held a meeting in Seattle with the attorneys general and held panels to teach them about trafficking. They then went back to their states and started changing things there. We have started a global program with Child Reach International called Taught Not Trafficked. It's starting with Nepal, because Nepal is in dire straits with trafficking. There are some villages in the highest, in the regions that are at the greatest risk, and where there are no girls over the age of 10. So imagine villages with no girls. And so we are starting there, and this program is all about keeping kids in school. It's about keeping girls and boys in school, because if you keep children in school, they have an 80% less chance of being trafficked.
And
this question goes to both Gillian and Jeffrey. I understand during the preparation and filming, you did actually meet with real-life victims of child trafficking. Tell us about your experience during that time.
Well, entering orphanages filled with girls and young boys who have experienced these atrocities, it's not appropriate for us to sit down and say, "Tell me your story." So it was mostly speaking to the people who are running the organizations, talking to them about what their procedure was. I was actually surprised in one of the places that we visited that that education was not compulsory within the orphanage. I was a little bit shocked by that, but it was education. I think you spent quite a bit more time in those places than I had an opportunity.
There's one kid, she was 9, and she just kept following me around, and I really, spent a bit of time talking to her, and it turned out her story was she found out she was being trafficked, and she jumped off a train, and she hid at night for several weeks, and foraged for food, and finally found her way to this orphanage. And I called my wife and I said, "We've got to adopt this kid. He's an amazing kid." And she said, "Well, she got off the train. You don't have to. She's going to be able to survive on her own." But like literally, one of the first safe houses we went to, there was a kid lying on a bed, shivering in fevers. They're waiting for an ambulance to come get her. And meanwhile, I'm talking to a woman that runs the safe house. She's a survivor herself. She's telling me the story of how she got out, met her husband. He kept courting her. He'd come to the brothel and sleep with her, not having sex. He did this for months until he wooed her, and then he married her and he got her out. And so there's just a million stories that I've heard, and you can't tell them all. It's just sort of, now those stories are really deeply embedded in me, and we just want to do what we can to help the kids.
Wait, why are you locking me in?
You will do what men tell you and smile while you do it till all your debt is cleared.
Has it changed you as a filmmaker and the projects you might take on in the future, just straight from this film?
Absolutely. I want to do more films that help kids.
I'd like to extend that question that I asked Jane earlier on to Jeffrey and Gillian in terms of your own personal thoughts on how we can tackle this problem. We're here in London. This is the London Indian Film Festival. There'll be many people here moved by this film. But how can we here in the West, or perhaps here in London, stop that change?
Well, it depends where you want to, you've all got time, you've all got talent, you've all got treasure. So choose one of those three things and give. I'd love to call out our partners, Child Reach. Can you come up cheering in Firoz?
But globally, there are 30 million people living under the conditions of slavery, and that is twice more than those throughout the 350 years of the transatlantic slave trade. The face of slavery has changed, but it's all around us.
And it's very well organized. These are gangs working in tandem with each other globally. So the people that are slaves are shipped globally. And we have to get very well organized to address it. In India, Jane and I went to the rescue mission in Mumbai, and it's about 5 floors, and every floor was a different, top floor was Biharis, second floor was Nepalis, third floor was kids from southern India, Karnataka speaking. It was like that. They were divided by language groups. Within India, there's a recent study that just came out from Dasra Foundation and the Ahmadiyar Foundation and 2 others, Hummingbird Foundation and a Japanese foundation whose name I can't pronounce. They, in that study, estimate there are 13 million women and children coercively forced into sexual slavery alone in India. Of that, they estimate 70% to be under 18. Those numbers are completely different.
Those numbers are harrowing, actually, and you can't fully fathom that. What I would like to say to the audience here tonight is, as part of your goodie bags, in all of your goodie bags, the London Indian Film Festival have provided full information on both charities. In terms of the particular campaign towards Not Trafficked, if you will be tweeting tonight on social media, then if you do hashtag Talk to Not Traffic. That's an instant way that we can start talking about this tonight. So please do take that away with you.
The number, there's a number?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a number.
Just take out your cell phone and try and take this number down, go for it.
So in your bags there's a leaflet that says Talk Not Trafficked. If you can text, have you got your phones? London, have you got your phones?
Yeah.
If you could take out your phones and if you could type in taught and text it to 70007, that will be a donation, £3 you'll be making. And if you can, please add your email addresses so that we can keep you informed about how else you can get involved with this campaign.
Your final message to the audience on the film.
We can do this. We can end traffic.
Thank you. So a round of applause for the filmmakers. Thank you.
We've got to get out of here.
Of course.